My next guest tonight is a comedian who is certainly not afraid to get political. He took on David Beckham over his Qatar World Cup role. He took on the former Prime Minister Liz Truss and, of course, the brand Hugo Boss. Well, now Joe Lycett has set his sights on getting more funding for his home city of Birmingham. It's all part of his new Sky series, and the comedian has set out on a mission to unite Birminghams from across the world, culminating in an international day celebrating the cities. Let's take a little look at the clip from this new series.
The city of Birmingham, Alabama, in the United States of America, and the city of Birmingham in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland
express their common will to develop friendly relations as part of a formal linking and network of Birminghams.
Particularly recognizing the historical ties, and will seek to celebrate these at appropriate points with a collective chant of,
"All right, Bab."
All right, Bab.
All right, Bab.
All right, Bab.
Yes, that's a term for hello.
American city mayors there signing friendship treaties. I caught up with Joe Lycett a little earlier and I started by asking why he wanted to create an International Day of Birmingham.
I'm here in Birmingham's Victoria Square, which is where we've hosted the International Day of Birmingham, the inaugural International Day of Birmingham, which is celebrating the fact that we have united all of the places in the world called Birmingham. That's actually what's happened today. I've been to 10 of them. We've sent treaties to as many of them as we can, and they've all signed. And today, our Lord Mayor countersigned all of the documents. So we are now officially friends. It's a treaty of friendship with all the Birminghams in the world.
Well, Joe, as someone who knows that city well, you are a great advocate for Birmingham, putting it on the map. Tell me how this idea came about, because I know that all these Birminghams you went to visit were the majority in the United States, and I think there they call it Birmingham, right?
They do, yes, yes. They say it properly because we're too lazy to finish the word here.
It's the accent, it's the accent.
Yeah, it started out that... It's the accent. Yes, it started out, the idea was me and the team wanted to, we make documentaries, make travel shows, and we were talking about it'd be great to see what Birmingham, Alabama's like, because we're pretty much all from Birmingham. And as we were talking about it, somebody started Googling, and we found that there were Birminghams all over the place, and we found 18 other Birminghams. There's one in Canada, but the rest are in the States, and they're all across the States. There's 3 in Ohio, there's 2 in Pennsylvania, there's obviously the one in Alabama, but they go all the way over to Kansas. There's one in Kentucky, which is literally underwater. It's under a lake now, but it used to be a Birmingham years ago. And so we started to kind of work on this idea and ended up with this United States of Birmingham, as we're calling it, and creating this treaty of friendship. The Lord Mayor of Birmingham UK was well up for it, and so we made this internationally recognised document, which has now been signed, and here we are.
Yeah, and it's got its own flag and everything, of the colours of which you are wearing for this interview.
You might not see
I understand
it.
As well.
Yes,
well,
it's
you're
now
wearing
flying
it, aren't you?
in the square behind me. I'm wearing it, it's flying, there are people with little mini flags. Yes, we've got our own flag, and I suppose I'm the president.
Joe, Birmingham has always been called the second city, and there always seems to be a debate about that, as to whether other cities in the UK are overtaking Birmingham, Manchester and the like. Do you think it's a bit of a forgotten city in terms of that? Because over the last few years, best part of a decade, we've talked about levelling up in this country. It does tend to concentrate on the northwest of England, almost with a bypass through the Midlands.
Yeah. Well, we are forgotten, and actually all the Birminghams that we went to have a similar identity, particularly Birmingham, Alabama. It's a great city. I really recommend it for people to go and visit. Incredible place, and really good restaurants and culture, and they've got brilliant sport. But they have that identity of, oh, well, we're kind of forgotten, and people think that we're not that great. But we know we're great. And I do think with everything that's going on with the council here particularly, that we've been kind of slightly left out to dry, and some of that levelling up money would be lovely here. It'd be nice to have a bit of cash from Sakir if you're watching. Just a couple of quid, Sakir.
Yeah, I did notice that when Birmingham City Council announced that you were coming to the city today, there was a bit of backlash going, why are you spending money on this? You should be spending money on the potholes, the libraries, the infrastructure, because, of course, as you mentioned, Birmingham City Council doesn't have any money, effectively.
They spread out across the globe.
To boost Birmingham in that sense, you're doing your bit, because, as you said, most of the people you work with are from Birmingham that you make your documentaries with. I know that you really push the arts, entertainment side of Birmingham, the culture of the great city. What more needs to be done to help Birmingham?
Well, I mean, as you can tell from what I look like, I'm not great at maths, so I'm not sure how I would...
You're pretty good at shining a light on subjects, though.
That's true, that is true. And key thing, this was no cost to the council. The council allowed it to happen, but it was funded by our good friends at Sky Television, so thank you for that. It was, yeah, I think some of it's to do with identity and that sense of we don't shout about ourselves that much, and so we do get overlooked. And I suppose when those funding rounds come round, and we struggle to get them because Manchester, Liverpool, all of these cities can shout louder about it. But I do also think that the council's been put in a really difficult position, and that you know, there was money found when the banks collapsed, and they managed to find billions to sort that problem. Where's our money? We'd like some money to sort our problems, because it is really affecting people here. You know, the first thing they announced was cuts to children's services. I mean, start with something else. But I think, you know, money for these vital services is not an extravagance to pay for children's services in any of the cities in the UK. You know, we should be funding these things. Yeah. So I'd like to see more help from central government, really.
We know that you're into your politics and you follow it closely. The new Labour government just a few weeks in. What's your early review been, Joe?
I mean, it's so difficult to kind of make a review, because God knows how you make, you know, sense of what the last, 14 years of hellish government has done once you've got your feet under the table. I appreciate that they're a new government and that they are trying to work out how to make things better. And I fully support them in that. You know, I want a government that can make a brilliant country, and particularly focus on Birmingham, maybe. But I would love to hear from anyone at the DCMS. Lisa Nandy, you've got my details. I sent a manifesto for the arts as part of the Sky Arts Awards, which is it's not a document that we threw together in half an hour. It's a proper research document that we did with loads of arts organisations, loads of institutions, of actionable things that the government can do right now to improve the arts sector, which is not an extravagance. It's part of our identity. It's part of our soul as a country. And it won't cost any money. Rachel Reeves can worry not. All of these policies are things that can be done without costing anything. And I think maybe my emails to the DCMS was a little bit spicy. I was just having a laugh. Please reply to my emails. They stopped responding. So, yes, I think, I wish them well. I really want them to do well, because we all want a better country, and we definitely want a more stable country than the last 14 years. But the jury's out on it at this point. Yeah,
too early to give a review, but you've avoided the awkward predicament of sending that follow-up email. You've done it live on Sky News, Joe. Just a final question, if I may, about freebies, because as you said, government is a serious business and it's party conference season. Labour, Sir Keir Starmer delivering his first speech as Prime Minister to the Labour conference, but a lot of the talk has been about freebies, free clothes, free football tickets, free Taylor Swift tickets, actually. What have you made of all that?
I'd love some free Taylor Swift tickets. She's not called me up. I think it's one of those, it feels like a bit of a non-story. It feels like the sort of thing that they're slightly clutching at straws. When you think of the corruption of the last 14 years, the best they can do is a few tickets to things. But I do think they've got to be careful. You know, they have presented themselves as a party. I've fallen into these traps, presenting yourself as the sort of, holier-than-thou kind of figure. If you're going to do that, you're going to get caught out if you do these things. And I don't think anything they've done is, it's not illegal, it's not against the rules, and they've maybe been super honest and they've been caught out by that. But yeah, you've got to be squeaky clean, because people find these things out, and it's a shame that that's sort of overshadowed their conference. But politics is a dirty game, and that's why I'll never get involved in it in any official capacity. I'll leave it to all those losers. Yeah, keep it very unofficial. Joe, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for all you're doing for the city of Birmingham. It's Boston. Well, thank you. Yeah, ta-ra a bit. Ta-ra, Bab.